So I had caught wind of a story about an anti-violence group that had spent a summer hosting softball games to promote peace in Washington Park. And they're actually getting the boot now. They're getting kicked out. And it's all because of a shooting that organizers say had nothing to do with the game. So according to the witnesses, the police, a fight had broken out the evening of September 13th, and someone fired shots and left 2 people dead and 8 others wounded. The game, which was organized by ACLIVIS, a community health organization with a focus on violence prevention, was interrupted by the shooting, of course. But as a result of the shooting, they had their permits to play in the park yanked by the Chicago Park District. And this group has been organizing softball tournaments all summer, recruiting residents from Douglas, Grand Boulevard, and Washington Park to play. It gave residents a safe, fun thing to do and erased imaginary battle lines in the area. Sworn enemies became friends while playing. And witnesses agreed, saying that the shooting there had nothing to do with the game and that the gunman had chased someone into the field. They said the group even tried to get police to show up to the games in the past. But just in case issues like this had ever arose, but the only time police ever appeared was to enforce the 9 p.m. park curfew, of course, forcing games to be cut short and all that. I mean, and this story by itself certainly elicited for me like that ain't right, kind of like that's kind of bullshit response, right? Like you have this group that's an anti-violence group who's getting shut down because there happened to be a shooting, because there's a fucking shooting everywhere all the fucking time.
We reported on a story similar to this, God, months ago, where there were like peaceful protesters and the cops were shutting them down in their neighborhood. It's the same thing. It's because it's in neighborhoods of color.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Ed shared another story, weirdly enough, that all dropped in the same week. Which basically talked about like, the circumstances inside of the Chicago Police Department ordering the closings of businesses that are in some way linked to shoot. And not even like, when I say linked to shootings, it's like lack of a better
linked
word.
To people of color.
Like
they don't do it downtown. Yeah. It's linked to people of color in neighborhoods. That's where it's linked to, because you don't see it happening in Streeterville or downtown or in the Loop, where there's just as much violence and there's just as much potential violence and just as much potential crime.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are very specific businesses as well. So, this story starts to dig into like what businesses are safe from being shut down, basically, and what business, if there is violence in or around the business, and what businesses are effed. And yes, and we find that the businesses in neighborhoods with, Black people, Hispanic people, those are the ones getting shut down. So when a patron of a glitzy near Northside bar called the Liquor Box was gunned down in the middle of Orleans Street, Chicago police officers spoke with a friend of the man, and he told them that the incident had begun inside the club. But they didn't shut down Liquor Box.
Of course not, because it was downtown.
And it has a douchey spelling. No,
it's a tourist. It's the
judgmental.
The tourist circle downtown.
So yeah, they didn't shut down Liquor Box, whose owners include Carmen Rossi, a clout-heavy businessman who runs a string of restaurants and clubs, holds the liquor license for none other than Lollapalooza, and is a political.
No, you don't say.
Yeah. And
he holds the liquor. You know what, Kira?
Hanky. What does that mean, Vince? Hinky.
Oh, strange.
Weird. Well, why don't you say strange or weird? A hinky, that has no meaning.
That's right. So, they didn't shut down Liquor Box. And there's this coincidence that Carmen Rossi happens to hold that liquor license, and also a big contributor, Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Of course. Well, wait, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, I got to drop.
What a fucking bitch, am I right?
Because I love making Kira laugh.
That clip cracks me up. The way he says it makes me laugh. What a fucking bitch, am I right? Like, it's so funny. Okay. It's too much. Okay, so And Lightfoot says, of course, that her ties to Rossi had nothing to do with the police decision. Not
Because I'm sure he might.
This is such a crock of shit.
We gotta
I
laugh, or else we'd be crying.
I knew I was gonna cry on the show tonight. I just knew I was, but I didn't realize it was gonna come out quite like this. Oh my God. I've had such a hard week, and this is
I'm sorry,
humor,
Kira. I'm
just
sorry.
the humor I need. Like, no, this has nothing to do with all the money I get from this guy. All right. All right. So
$1 million.
It's probably more than that.
That's a lot of money.
All right.
I think
Moving on.
I mean, it was a lot of money. It's $15,500.
Wow.
To Lightfoot's campaign fund. And he wished her a happy birthday in an email saying it was great catching up with you on Sunday at Lollapalooza.
Yeah, I bet it was.
So anyway. Oh man, it's too much. 2015, police department records show that at least 58 Chicago businesses, liquor stores and bars, as well as gas stations, restaurants, and other establishments have been shut down as a result of shootings. So 58 entities have been shut down due to shootings. The ordinance gives the police department the little known but immense power to immediately close businesses associated with violence. Not necessarily the cause of or like a part of the violence, but just if violence occurs there, they're now associated to it.
Yeah, associated is doing a whole lot of work. The word associated.
Associated is doing a whole lot of work. Absolutely.
We got a $1 super chat from Kathy. So real quick. There you go, Kathy. Also, a $2 super chat from Dominic over on our Rockfin. That was our very first super chat on Rockfin. So thank you, Dominic.
Yay! Thank you. So Liquor Box and Joy District on Hubbard Street are part of an entertainment empire that is co-owned by Rossi. He's a lawyer, a lobbyist, and a nightclub owner. He also owns Hubbard House LLC, which is what holds the liquor license for Lollapalooza. Most of the shuttered businesses have been in low-income neighborhoods on the south and west sides. Nobody.
You needed that, Kira.
That's right. I did. Bullshit. Blowjob. Blowjob. Anyway, I sometimes just yell out blowjob. Despite the surge of violence that downtown Chicago has experienced in recent years, it appears from police records that only one of the businesses the police have shut down has been downtown, and that was Sound Bar, which happens to be like one of the only, I was going to say, which happens to be one of the only bars of downtown I think that I know. When you wave your hands like that, you look and sound like a Sesame Street Muppet. This.
Oh.
I love it. And asked what the police department's criteria for closing the business and why most of the police shutdowns are in minority areas, a spokesman declines to offer specifics, saying the Chicago Police Department issues summary closures in instances where an establishment presents a public safety threat. This is done to protect the people living, working, and visiting the areas in which a public safety threat exists. The summary,
Jerry, I think we need a few more clips that are similar to this one.
I will start mining for them, Ed.
Yeah, and so there are some. This article was actually a very, very long article, and actually I have a lot more information here on my own script, but it goes through a lot of instances of when businesses were shut down and when they weren't. So you can always look in our show notes and find the full stories. But Alderman Brandon Riley says he wonders why the police department doesn't close more businesses than it does. He routinely complained to police in City Hall about violence and noise tied to some of the early morning bars in his downtown ward. He says some of the bar owners are politically active. I hope that doesn't have anything to do with it, says Riley.
No.
Rossi also gave $1,200 to Riley's campaign fund 3 years ago. And so it is a little surprising that Riley, in this article anyway, seems to be coming down on Rossi in his quotes. He says, over the past week, every hospitality business owner has come to me to complain about Joy District's new clientele and the general lawlessness that exists on Hubbard at late nights and the weekends. Says Riley, I am officially sounding the alarm bell that there is a very real and serious threat that this continued lawlessness is going to result in someone getting shot. So that's pretty severe. I don't know what the Joy District what is going on over there, but we have an alderman who is getting money from the people who own the bars in that district saying, hey, I think people might end up getting shot in that district. So
our alderman at work.
There you go. Let's see. Yeah. And so there actually have been a lot of shootings in this area later that month. That's what happened. A man was shot and wounded on the sidewalk near Joy District. A security guard for the bar was standing on the sidewalk and saw the gunman run away. No arrest was made. So that guy is likely still out and about. Besides that 2021 shooting, at least 6 other people have been arrested at the bar in the past 3 years, including a woman accused of throwing bleach on another woman.
I remember that story. That was crazy, man.
3 people being accused of punching someone, 2 arrested on charges of gun possession. And Rossi says basically, so this is, it's a spokeswoman for Rossi, the owner of the bar. Quote, as a hospitality industry in Chicago continues to rebuild after the fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic and also deals with the alarming increase of crime, Mr. Rossi remains committed to engaging with the local community and in concert with any necessary agencies to continue to make Chicago a world-class city. So, so this guy owns these bars. He gives lots of money to City. He does lots of business with City, where City makes lots of money from Guy. And this guy's bars seem to be unfuckable with when so many other bars and people's place of business are getting shut down for far less than what is going on in and around these Joy District bars here.